Are you looking for the best gardening gloves? In this video we will look at some of the 7 best gardening gloves on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Showa 300L09 Atlas Fit 300 Rubber-Coated Gloves. These Showa rubber-coated gardening gloves earned the top spot in the lineup thanks to their non-slip coating and comfortable fit. We tested these gloves in a large size and felt they were true to size. After slipping them on, we found we could easily flex our fingers and make a tight fist without the gloves pinching anywhere. Then we got busy. We wore the Showa gloves while shoveling compost, mowing, and raking. The rubberized coating made it easy to grip tool handles without slipping. In addition, the woven cotton backing acts to ventilate the gloves, so we didn't end up with sweaty hands. Next, we dipped our hands in water to soak the gloves and then repeated our tool tests to see if they performed as well as they did when dry. While they still gripped well, the comfort level was slightly lower, as expected. We dried the gloves in the sun and then pulled them back on. The rubber was just as flexible as before, although the elasticized cotton was a bit stretched out, still highly usable, however. These gloves proved to be just the ticket for most outdoor gardening chores. But the cotton backing makes them porous, so they're not suitable for handling chemicals. At number 2. Pine Tree Tools Bamboo Gardening Gloves. This pair of Pine Tree Tools gardening gloves reminded us that these outdoor work essentials can be both affordable and hard-working. These thin, lightweight gloves fit like a second skin and are super flexible, allowing us to grip small items, including the safety lock on pruning shears, as efficiently as we could grasp larger tool handles. The slip-resistant nitrile coating on the palm and fingers provided a secure grip and offered enough traction to pull wet weeds as quickly as dry ones. We tested the large size and found them slightly snug, so buyers may want to order one size up if their hand size is on the cusp. The soft, breathable, hypoallergenic bamboo fabric on the back helped keep our hands dry and cool even after wearing the gloves for 30 minutes. The downside was the so-called touchscreen sensitivity. We tried numerous times on 4 different smartphones and 2 tablets, and the fingertips could never successfully swipe screens to answer calls or activate our devices. That negative aside, we found these Pine Tree Tools gloves top-notch for performing gardening tasks at an attractive price. At number 3. Handylandy Rose Pruning Gloves Long Thorn Proof. The rose pruning gloves made by Handylandy were slightly stiff straight out of the package, but that's par for the course with most leather gloves, especially those designed for protection. We slipped them on, and while they fit well, we could feel the leather seams inside. That's fairly common with unlined leather gloves, but fortunately leather usually softens with a bit of use, and in this case, the inner seams soon stopped being bothersome. We wore the pruning gloves to trim back the old growth on last year's rose bushes and long thorny raspberry vines. While the thorns did catch on the leather, none poked through. We dampened the gloves, which didn't change their ability to thwart pokes, but they became pretty crisp after letting them dry in the sun. Fortunately, rubbing the dried gloves between our hands softened them up again, and they actually fit a little better after that. Oddly enough, although these gloves are not advertised as touchscreen sensitive, when they were slightly damp, we could successfully swipe our phone screens. The gloves are made from pigskin, suede on the palm and wrist cuff and smooth on the back of the hand and fingers. The suede texture adds gripping power while still protecting from thorns. We tested a large size in these gloves and found them to run true to size. At number 4. Cool Job Gardening Gloves for Women. On first inspection, we questioned whether these light-as-air gardening gloves would hold up to everyday outdoor tasks. To our pleasant surprise, the Cool Job gardening gloves fit and performed well. They're exceptionally comfortable, and the soft and supple non-slip latex coating on palms and fingertips made it possible to grasp hand tools, hoses, and pots firmly. The product description notes that the woven fabric contains modal, from beech tree cellulose, combined with polyester and spandex, which stretches easily yet fits snugly. The gloves run true to size, the wrist fits well without binding or sagging, and the insides are smooth, no seams. The fabric wicks away moisture and kept our hands from getting sweaty during testing. They grip just as well when wet as when dry, and after letting them dry in the sun, we found them nearly as soft and flexible as when we first put them on. All that said, these are strictly light-duty gloves and aren't intended for such tasks as pruning rose bushes. They won't stop thorns, or repetitive shoveling. The fabric simply won't hold up. At number 5. Wells Lamont Women's Latex Coated Grip Winter Gloves. Cold fingers and hands can make working outside in chilly weather miserable, but regular winter gloves typically aren't suitable for gardening tasks. That's why we were excited to test this pair from Wells Lamont, a brand known for gloves, boots, and other outerwear. We tested these gloves in early spring when outdoor temperatures were in the high 30s. As we went about our gardening tasks, the Wells Lamont gloves not only gave us a non-slip grasp, but they also kept our fingers from getting cold. The 13-gauge knit brushed shell with its warm acrylic liner kept our hands toasty while still allowing us the agility to get the job done. Plus, the textured finish provides a non-slip grip, which proved an asset while we were raking, pushing the lawnmower, and pulling weeds. The gloves run true to size, and the back of the hand features a woven cloth that wicks away moisture to stave off sweat. The gloves also boast a water-resistant nitrile coating on the palm and fingers to protect hands from various solvents and chemicals. Water beads up on contact to keep hands warm and dry. The nitrile coating also resists cuts and abrasions, but it doesn't cover the wrists. We didn't wet down this pair during testing, as the interior lining is not meant to be saturated. The nitrile coating helps keep the inside dry. At number 6. Famoy Claw Gardening Gloves for Planting. At first sight, the Famoy Claw gardening gloves looked like part of a Halloween costume, but once we tried them out, we learned they're a lot more functional than frightening. Just don't scratch an itch while wearing them. The latex and polyester gloves boast 2.5-inch long plastic claws designed for digging, no trowel required. While they run true to size and fit well, they take some getting used to because the way the claws are attached creates a bump in the inside tip of each finger. Fortunately, this protrusion isn't rough or jagged, so after a few minutes of wear we acclimated. We were able to dig in a soft soil mix, the gloves' primary purpose, and didn't need to remove them even when planting tiny seedlings. Although the claws are rigid, they still offer a good degree of dexterity, and it's relatively easy to hold delicate seedlings between the claws and the thumb. We also found the gloves useful to create a straight row when planting seeds, simply by dragging a clawed finger through the soil. These gloves are not meant for digging in hard-packed ground, however. And while they are covered with a thin, flexible coating that helps when gripping hand tools, they're not suitable for most other tasks, such as mowing or raking. The claws would be cumbersome and just get in the way. At number 7. Amazing stuff for you. Garden gloves, super grippy. The soft fabric shell and thin, grippy coating on these gardening gloves provides enough flexibility to grasp tender seedlings yet is strong enough to hold and plant large root balls. The coating is also water resistant, which we found a plus while planting. The grip was just as good in wet and muddy conditions as when the gloves were dry. The gloves run true to size for the most part. They fit well around the wrist and hand and come with just a bit of extra length that would make them well suited to anyone with longer fingers. These garden gloves also feature a woven nylon shell that helps to keep dirt and bugs out while adding breathability and dexterity. After wearing them for 30 minutes, our hands weren't sweaty or hot. The gloves are described as machine washable, so we ran them through the washer, and they came out fine.